Daily Devotion with Pastor Balla for March 3rd, 2025. The Prayer of Faith from James chapter 5, verse 15. And the prayer of faith will save the one who is sick, and the Lord will raise him up. And if he has committed sins, he will be forgiven. James continues his teaching on prayer with a powerful promise that ties together faith, healing, and forgiveness. This verse follows the call to involve the elders in praying over the sick. And now we see the outcome of such a prayer offered in faith. It's a reminder of the profound connection between our spiritual well-being and God's gracious response. The prayer of faith is central here. This isn't a vague hope or a desperate plea. It is a confident trust in God's power and mercy. James assures us that this prayer will save the sick person, a word that carries layers of meaning. It can refer to physical healing, as the Lord raised up the person, but it also hints of a deeper salvation, the restoration of the whole person. Our faith doesn't earn God's favor. Rather, it clings to the one who has already secured our redemption through Christ. So the phrase, "the Lord will raise him up," echoes the hope of resurrection. While it may mean recovery from illness in this life, it also points to the ultimate raising up we all await, the day when Christ returns to make all things new. This dual perspective keeps us grounded. We trust in God for healing now, but we rest in the certainty of eternal life where every sickness is banished. Then comes an unexpected grace. And if he has committed sins, he will be forgiven. James links physical affliction with spiritual need, not to suggest that all sickness is a punishment for sin, but to show God's holistic care. The prayer of faith doesn't just address the body, it brings the soul before God's throne of mercy. This reflects the gospel truth that Christ's work on the cross covers all our brokenness, our sin, and suffering alike. Forgiveness flows freely to those who seek it through faith. So this verse paints a picture of a community where prayer is active and effective. The elders' intercession, rooted in faith, becomes a channel for God's grace. It's a collective act that mirrors Christ's ministry. Christ healed bodies and forgave sins, showing that God's love embraces every part of us. For the early church, and for us today, this is a call to trust in God's promises and to support one another in times of need. What does this mean for us? It encourages us to approach God boldly, whether seeking healing or forgiveness, knowing that he hears and responds. It also reminds us that our faith isn't solitary. It thrives in the fellowship of believers who pray together. In every trial, we are invited to lift our eyes to the Lord who saves, raises, and forgives, trusting that his will is always for our good. God's peace and many blessings be with you. And thank you for listening. And please take an opportunity to share this message with others.